Hey, this is Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, where we talk riding, rallies, gear, and wrenching. Today we're going to talk about April's crash that she had about a month ago. Today I'm going to show you the GoPro view from the camera mounted on her Dyna, as well as the GoPro view from the camera mounted on the rear of my Street Glide. That view will help you better understand what happens after her motorcycle leaves the roadway. We are going to break down what led to the accident, what she might have done differently, and why she made the decisions that she did at that time. The point of this video is not to trash her for making a mistake, but to help others understand how fast something like this can happen and hopefully help them avoid finding themselves in the same situation. I'm not an accident scene reconstruction expert, but I did enlist the help of a friend who has some professional experience with that to make sure my assumptions in the analysis are accurate. This is April's third season riding her own motorcycle. I know some people are going to say that she should invest in rider education because I've already seen those comments when I posted a short clip of this crash in a separate video. To be clear, she has had the basic rider's course and she had the high score in that class. And that doesn't mean she won't take additional advanced riding courses in the future, but simply taking a course doesn't prevent you from making a mistake or having an accident. We're firm believers in rider education and practicing your skills, but those things do not make you invincible or prevent you from making mistakes. Remember, we are all human. We were riding a stretch of Highway 19 south of I-44, which is considered one of the best rides in the state of Missouri by many motorcyclists. I am leading and April is following me. We were riding at a comfortable speed and not pushing the limits. Speed was not a factor in the accident other than the faster you're going, the less time you have to react. I'm going to play both views at normal speed once, then I will replay them in slow motion and we'll talk about what happened and why. Note how far her front tire is from the painted line of the shoulder. Now notice how close she is to it as she is entering the turn where the accident occurs. I've calculated her speed at about 51 miles an hour as she goes through the turn. About 2 seconds into the turn, you can see a slight wobble in her movements. As she gets too wide into the turn, she felt herself in a bunch of pea gravel, and when she tried to lean the bike harder, she felt like it was going to come out from underneath her. At this point, she rolled off the throttle a little instead of trying to brake while on loose gravel. Your reaction time from the time you decide to do something till the time you are actually doing it is about 1/2 to 0.7 seconds in an accident. What we see is about 0.66 seconds later, the bike stands up straighter and heads for the ditch. April recalls making the decision to go toward the shoulder rather than going down on the pavement. It then takes 1.5 seconds for her to reach the signpost, which at the time of impact throws the bike into a violent spin around the post. The bike came to rest about 18 feet from the sign, and April was thrown another 20 feet beyond the bike. That's a total of 38 feet past the point of impact. Luckily, she ended up with just a small amount of road rash and 6 stitches in her left shin. Other than that, she was just very sore and had a lot of bruising on her legs and hip. She was wearing a DOT-approved half helmet, which did take an impact on the front left forehead area. We can see as she approaches the turn, she's getting closer to the shoulder and out of the tire track that she normally rides in. Quite simply, her mistake is getting wide and ending up in the shoulder going through the turn. That's where she got into the pea gravel and could not get the bike back down into the lane before running out of the apron. The next question is, why did she get wide? From what she recalls, she had some dirt or maybe a hair in her eye. This may have caused her to lose focus on her line and drift wide. Another thought was maybe she was focusing too much on the white painted line, and when it ended at the beginning of the apron, she found herself going wide into the turn. I do believe the 200-foot wide apron for the intersecting road at the top of a knoll played some part in the equation. I don't think she would have gotten wide and been off on the shoulder if it was just another sweeping turn to the left without that intersection. We are not trying to make excuses. She owns her mistake, and she wanted me to make this video, so maybe it would help others avoid making a similar mistake. We went back to the accident scene a week later to make some measurements, and I was surprised at the amount of pea gravel built up in that turn. We're not just talking about a few spots, but the whole apron had patches that reminded me of water puddles, except they were pea gravel, which is almost like marbles on this pavement.
And see, I'm sure in here's where she tried to lean and felt like it was rolling on her, because this is just all big piles of gravel. Gravel all down through this.
After going through the GoPro video and visiting the accident scene, I don't know if April could have done anything different to have prevented this accident after she was already wide. I'm sure some people will say she could have leaned the bike harder and rode it out of trouble. But she was the one sitting in the seat, and she knows how it felt when she tried to lean it, and I'm not going to second guess that. I am sure her coming wide into the turn is what got her into trouble. And the only thing I can say there is to remember head and eyes, meaning stay focused and looking ahead where you want the bike to be. Don't get distracted and look away from your path. Remember, this all happened in a few seconds, and because she got a few feet wide in an intersection. Now we're going to run through the video at double speed from the point of impact to show you how long it took for me to realize April was not behind me, for me to turn around and then go find her. At about 23 seconds, I got to a section of road that was fairly straight, and I start looking in my mirror consistently for her. After several seconds, I slowed down because I still had not seen her. And then I slowed way down, and then I sped up looking for a place to turn the bike around after realizing she wasn't going to catch up. I get the bike turned around just before the 1 minute mark. I scan the shoulders and ditches as I head back the other direction looking for any sign of her. I see the wrecked bike and her sitting up in the ditch as I approach the accident scene. I then turn my bike around again and park it on the same side of the road to keep traffic from getting too close to the accident. It took just under 2 minutes for me to realize that she was not there, then turn around and find her. This is longer than I would like, but in reality it was pretty quick considering the road conditions and the situation. We may do a whole video on the after scene situation, including how long it took for the EMTs to get there, what happened when the EMTs got there, dealing with law enforcement, April getting a ride to the hospital to get her stitches, and me waiting for the wrecker to come pick up the motorcycle. I will definitely do a video on first aid. I carry a first aid kit in the bike at all times. I did so before this accident. I even took a Stop the Bleed training class last year. I've done this all in the last year because a few years ago we came across an accident with a motorcyclist where someone else was already there to lend a hand, but I realized I had no training and no first aid kit to be of any value to that person. And I didn't want to be in that situation again. I want to be able to help someone if I find a motorcyclist down and hurt.
Give it a big thumbs up if you like this video. If you do YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I drop a new video. And as always, thanks for your support. Be safe and keep on riding.